Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make Minecraft Manhunt using command blocks. As you can see here, there are 6 sets of command blocks, and all these make it so Manhunt works as close to the original as it can without using plugins like the Compass, which you have to pay for Dreams Patreon. Before we get into the video, only a small percentage of my viewers are subscribed, so subscribe. And also, shout out to Hello661. I'll put his video in the description. He made Minecraft Manhunt with 3 command blocks instead of freaking 18. But it's a lot more simple, and it's not the full experience if you want the most exact Manhunt experience. Okay, so before we do anything with the command blocks here, you're gonna have to run some commands in the chat. There's a Google Doc I have with all these. I'm probably gonna put it on screen and put it in the description if you want to check that out to just copy and paste them. But you're gonna have to do /scoreboard objectives add pause X for the position X of the player, and then dummy. So that creates a scoreboard tracking. It doesn't track yet, but it's going to be able to track the position X of the speedrunner when they're in the game. And so you're going to add one for position Z, so you have X and Z, and then also that's only for the overworld. This you're going to want to add 2 for the nether. So what I do, I just put a N at the end of both of them, and then those 2 will track for the nether. So you're going to want to add one more scoreboard, and it's going to be for tracking the dimension of where the speedrunner is. So you just want to do the same thing, but call it dimension or whatever you want to call it. Put dummy, and there we go. That's all the scoreboards you need to add. Oh, but there are two more commands you want to run in chat before you start doing the command blocks. These are scoreboard not objectives actually. Players set overworld, and then dimension 19. This sets the score for the dimension. It sets overworld score to 19. That's the score it keeps in the NBT tags to show that the player is in the overworld. So if you set this to that, you can compare this to the what's it called, the speedrunners value, and if it's the same, they're in the overworld. And also you want to add one for the nether. You just call it nether and make the score 20. Those are all the commands you have to run in chat. Okay, now we are on to the command blocks. So I have these on the document. There's a key showing you that purple are repeating, green are chain, and then there's some that are conditional, like this. The ones that look like arrows are conditional, and then you can figure it out like that. You don't even need to watch the video really if you just want to go do that. If you want to understand it fully, you should watch this, but if you don't, you could do that really quickly. Okay, so for the first command block chain, this is gonna track the X position of the player. So basically what these do, the bottom one is always on. It keeps on checking what dimension I'm in. So it keeps on checking that, and so if I'm in the overworld, it will spit out a value of 19, and then here it compares the value of overworld, which is 19, to mine. So if I'm in the overworld, these 2 are equal, and this if makes it so the conditional on the next one, it makes it so that so this one always runs if I'm in the overworld, and then this just, if I'm in the overworld, it sets pause, and then in brackets over here 0, which is the X coordinate. It sets that to pause X, so that will keep track of X. Next one, it's literally the exact same thing, except this last one, pause Z, pause 2, which is the Z coordinate, because it goes from computers count from 0, 1 to 2. So 0 is X, 1 is Y, but we don't track Y, so we go 2 for Z. Okay, for the next two, which are these two, it's very similar. All it is, these track the nether coordinates, so you want to change overworld to nether, and these two keep the bottom two the same. It's all in the document, and these top two change it from pos x to pos xn, or whatever you call the nether ones, and then zn for these two. And then those are your coordinates, both coordinates for overworld and nether finished. Okay, now these two command blocks are for showing the coords to the hunters, whether they're in the overworld or the nether. Okay, so this one is the same as all the other ones on the bottom. All the ones on the bottom are the exact same. They are just checking which dimension the player is in. But instead, this one is going to check the hunter. So instead of putting the speedrunner's name, you put the hunter's name right here and earlier right here. Look in the document to see where to put hunter and speedrunner's name. I try to make it as easy as possible. I just put the exact commands, but then replaced the speedrunner's name with your name, and then hunter's name with hunter name, and then you can just replace those with whoever you want. And so you just do this, and this one checks hunter, make sure this one's a hunter, not you, the player. It checks the player's dimension to make sure it's an overworld. Then if it is, it displays this action bar to them, which should say, here, I'll just activate it right now. Oh, okay. Important note, you see the chat right now? To stop it from spamming, do game rule command block output false. And now the command blocks, even as they're running like this, they won't say anything in the chat. If I activate these to track the position, you can see it pops up at the bottom and it tracks mine correctly. See, my X is 143 and my Z is 28, and that is the same on both. And so this is the last command block chain. Exactly the same as this one, but nether instead of overworld, and pos zn wherever there's pos z, and pos xn wherever there's pos x. That will track in the nether. Okay, so those are all the command blocks that you need. Now I'm going to get my friend and show you how it works when you're in the nether and they're in the overworld, vice versa. And even if you're in the same dimension, it will track and show that. So I'm going to get him right now. Oh, side note, if you have multiple hunters, these command blocks, just copy these two chains. And then instead of, you have one of them as one of the hunter's names and then the other one as the other hunter's name. Okay, so I'm just gonna activate all these command blocks really quickly. Okay, now can you start flying around really quickly? Yeah, so you can see the X and Z position change. It is his exact coordinates, just flying around. Okay, now go into the nether. And you see the coordinates do not change. It is the same exact coordinates where the nether portal is. So when you're in the overworld, when I'm the hunter in this example, so when I'm in the overworld and they're in the nether, I can only see the coords of the portal. If I go in, the coordinates change to his again in the nether. But yeah, it does track his coordinates when I'm in the nether, and then he's back here, go back through the portal. And so the coordinates are the portal coordinates again. And so when I go back through, you can see his coordinates change again. So that's basically it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you can do Manhunt now without having to pay $20. But you should still support Dream if you want to do that. So yeah. See you guys.